As Mary Poppins once said, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Today on the channel, I'm going to be talking about Spoonful of Sugar coming to Shudder on March the 2nd, a brand new horror film. Is it even worth your time? Well, let's talk about it. A disturbed babysitter experiences a sexual awakening while using LSD to treat a seemingly sick child from a family with dark secrets. The film stars Morgan Saylor, Kat Foster, Myko Olivier, Danilo Crovetti, Keith Powell, and many others, and was directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan. Spoonful of Sugar premiered on Fantastic Fest on 2022, and in this film you follow a girl named Millie who is taking a break from her studies, and she's using a thesis to try to study children who have severe allergies. So she applies to be this babysitter for this couple, and they have a son named Johnny. He's nonverbal, he has a ton of allergies, he's allergic to everything, he wets the bed, he has some freaking out kind of accidents, he has a lot of weird things that he does, and he is not the most normal child. He also stabs people with objects, which is very strange behavior for a little boy. Millie really takes in his presence and really bonds with this child, and that is where the big bulk of this story is. The mother is a writer, and the husband, he basically just does a lot of yard work. He always has his shirt off, and he is the eye candy of the film, especially for Millie, who really has some fascination with this guy, has some sexually charged fantasy kind of moments. The film really is a very sexually charged film, especially for Millie. I like that it tackles a lot of different subjects in this film, mainly starting off with motherhood and what motherhood really means to you and how far would you really go for your child. And then opposite of that, in Millie's case, she doesn't have a father or mother to really help guide her throughout life. So when you don't have that and you're going through foster care most of your life, the horrors that you really face and how you perceive life is a little bit different. Drugs play a big role in this film, causing hallucinations and a lot of different horrific kind of visions and dreams. And it really does go off a little bit into the artsy kind of horror that you would see. And I really did enjoy seeing those artsy moments. There's a few brutal moments that really come out of those dream sequences. And I think that's where the film really shines, and it really has those horrific moments where you kind of are questioning, is this really real? Is this in Millie's head? What's really going on? And I think mainly how this film, how it plays out, it did remind me of another horror film, mainly of a horror film that came out with a sequel recently. I'm not going to name the film because it could give away a little bit of what the film is trying to go for, but I think it does remind me a little bit of that said horror film in certain aspects, but at the same time, there is a twist in this film, and I did not see it coming all the way. I like that it did have some deep moments. It had some very well shot moments, and it does have, like I said, this very sexual charged energy, mainly between a fantasy of a babysitter and a father figure that is already married. And there is one part in this film that I am going to point out, especially for people that really like animals, where they have a scene where they're skinning a actual rabbit and it takes off the fur of the rabbit. I wanted to point that out before somebody actually watches this film. It's a brief scene, but maybe if you're okay with just skipping that part is in the film. There are some moments in this film where it could be a little bit uncomfortable, and especially the sexual element. It depends how you're really perceiving this film or what you really like to watch, but there is those moments in the film that really have some really dark imagery and really make the film feel like it's a little bit over the edge at points. But I really enjoyed that it really did push the envelope in this film, and I enjoyed that it had some scenes in here where you're just like, what the heck, what is going on here at this point? And it really does make you question, is this really all in Millie's head, or is this really happening? And I really enjoyed that we get to keep seeing that over and over and over, but at the same time not really knowing the full plot as to where this film is headed. And I like that we had that uncertainty throughout the film. And speaking of uncertainty, the uncertainty of Johnny and how he reacts to Millie versus his mother, and how he is nonverbal and certain things and milestones that he ends up doing because he is with Millie. which was very interesting to me. And it really does tackle into the jealousy portion of motherhood versus somebody else teaching their kid how to do something. And if the mother can't do it, the mother feels very rejected or feels like they are a failure because they couldn't do that said thing and some other person could. And I think that's where jealousy really does play a big role versus motherhood versus other people. I really enjoyed this film. I didn't really have any negatives to really say about this film. I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I really liked that it took a lot of different turns and it had a lot of different mixed messages in this film. I liked that I just never knew technically what was going to come next or what really was going to come of it, because I thought one thing and then something else happened. So I really liked that it had that unpredictability, and I think it's going to do well on Shudder. I would definitely recommend this film, and I would give a score of this film a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Some people may feel like certain points of the film may be a little bit slow, but I never felt that. I felt that it was very entertaining, and I felt that it really had a very compelling story. Did you like the film? Did you hate it? Did you think it was kind of meh? And if you haven't seen it, is it something that you're really interested in? Have I sold you to actually check out this film? Thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.